66 million years ago, the sky tore open. A light brighter than 1,000 suns carved a scar across the heavens, followed by silence, then fire. It was the end of an era, the fall of the greatest creatures ever to walk the earth, or so we've always been told. For decades, the story seemed simple. A massive asteroid struck the planet, triggering the extinction of the dinosaurs. But new discoveries are revealing a deeper, more haunting truth, one that begins long before that final impact, in a world already unraveling. In the late Cretaceous, Earth was a paradise of giants. Vast forests stretched across continents. Rivers shimmered with life. The air was thick and warm, carrying the cries of creatures that ruled land, sea, and sky. Dinosaurs thundered across floodplains. Raptors hunted in packs beneath the trees. And above them all, the great Tyrannosaurus reigned, muscles coiled beneath scarred skin, eyes glinting with the intelligence of a born predator. But even as this kingdom of reptiles flourished, something was stirring deep within the planet. Volcanoes began to roar across what is now India. The Deccan Traps, one of the largest volcanic systems in Earth's history, awoke. Over hundreds of thousands of years, they poured oceans of lava across the land, releasing clouds of toxic gases into the atmosphere. The world began to change, slowly at first, then all at once. Rain turned acidic, temperatures swung wildly. Carbon and sulfur filled the skies, dimming the sunlight and choking the oceans. Coral reefs collapsed, forests withered, species vanished. Long before the asteroid appeared in the sky, the dinosaurs were already living through a planet in crisis. It was a world of instability. Droughts followed by floods, summers of blistering heat, winters that bit with cold unseen in millions of years. Some species adapted, shifting their habitats north or south in search of stable climates. Others dwindled, their fossil record fading into silence. But still, life endured. In the shadows of volcanic twilight, ecosystems adapted in strange, beautiful ways. Ferns took over barren landscapes. Mammals, small and warm-blooded, began to rise. Some dinosaurs even grew feathers, not for flight, but for insulation, a defense against the erratic cold. It seemed Earth was trying to heal itself. But then, from the void of space, came the visitor that would seal its fate. A rock 6 miles wide, older than Earth itself, hurtled through the darkness. For millions of years it had drifted silently between worlds, until gravity, an invisible thread, pulled it toward a fragile blue planet already trembling on the edge. It struck near what is now the Yucatan Peninsula, with the force of over 10 billion Hiroshima bombs. In less than a second, the crust of the Earth opened like a wound. The sea boiled. The air turned to fire. A wall of molten rock surged outward faster than sound, flattening everything within 1,000 miles. But the destruction was only beginning. The impact vaporized trillions of tons of rock, blasting them into the sky. As they fell back to Earth, they ignited the atmosphere. The world burned, not for minutes, but for days. Forests vanished in waves of flame that raced from horizon to horizon. The air became unbreathable. Those who survived the fire faced a darker enemy still. Ash and soot blotted out the sun. The planet plunged into night. Photosynthesis stopped. Temperatures dropped by tens of degrees. Oceans turned toxic as acid rain fell from the blackened sky. In just a few years, 3/4 of all life on Earth was gone. The age of the dinosaurs had ended. Or had it? Because beneath the ash, hidden among the ruins of a lost world, something small, something fragile, still drew breath. If you love uncovering the secrets buried in time, subscribe for more journeys like this one. For millions of years, scientists believed the asteroid was the singular cause of the dinosaurs' extinction. But new evidence suggests the truth is far more complex and far more tragic. The real story of their fall wasn't written in a single day. It was written in slow motion, across centuries of fire, ice, and poisoned skies. The impact may have been the final blow, but the dinosaurs' fate was already sealed by forces they could never see and never escape. Still, life clings to the edges of catastrophe. And in the smoldering remains of that long night, evolution stirred once more. But the Earth still had one last secret to reveal. In the silence after the impact, the Earth became a graveyard. Ash covered the continents like a shroud. The oceans, once alive with color, turned gray and lifeless. The winds carried the scent of decay across a planet stripped of its voice. And yet, somewhere in that silence, the story of survival began. In the fossil beds of North Dakota, paleontologists uncovered something extraordinary. A layer of rock no thicker than a coin, packed with glassy spheres. Tiny beads of melted earth, ejected into space by the impact and rained down across the planet. Inside that layer, they found fish with those same glass spheres lodged in their gills. It was a snapshot of the moment the sky fell. But among those fossils, something else appeared. Evidence that not all creatures died in an instant. Some lived on for weeks, months, even years after the blast. The extinction wasn't a single heartbeat. It was a slow suffocation. The world that followed was dark and cold. Without sunlight, plants could no longer grow. Herbivores starved first. The great hadrosaurs, once roaming in herds, withered away. Carnivores followed soon after. Even the mighty Tyrannosaurus, built for domination, could not escape starvation. Yet in the undergrowth, in burrows and tree hollows, small creatures endured. Mammals, scarcely larger than rats, fed on roots and insects. Birds, those that could still find shelter and scavenge seeds, managed to survive the endless winter. Their hollow bones and warm blood became the keys to resilience in a frozen world. And then, slowly, the skies began to clear. Sunlight pierced the clouds for the first time in years. Ash settled into the sea, carrying nutrients that would one day bloom into life again. When the warmth returned, it found a new planet. The reign of the dinosaurs had ended, but their world had not died. It had transformed. What had once been the empire of giants became a realm of survivors. Ferns spread first, reclaiming the land. Then came flowering plants, insects, and finally, new waves of animals, smaller, quicker, more adaptable than the ones that came before. For millions of years, evolution rebuilt what the cataclysm destroyed. But even in this rebirth, traces of the old world remained. In the DNA of birds, in the shape of a claw, in the beat of a heart, echoes of the dinosaurs still pulsed. The asteroid didn't just erase a chapter of life. It rewrote the rules of existence itself. And perhaps that's the true legacy of the dinosaurs. Not their extinction, but their endurance. Because while their bodies turned to stone, their spirit took flight. The line between death and transformation blurred, and from the ashes of annihilation rose the first ancestors of the creatures that sing above us today. If this story is pulling you in, subscribe now. There are many more worlds to uncover together. Still, one question lingers like smoke on the horizon. What if the asteroid had missed? Would the dinosaurs still rule the Earth? Or were they already destined to fall? The answer lies not in the sky but in the Earth itself. Deep beneath ancient lava fields, scientists have uncovered clues that the end might have come no matter what fell from space. The Deccan Traps, those same volcanoes that raged before the impact, didn't stop when the asteroid struck. In fact, they grew stronger. The shockwave may have triggered even more eruptions, releasing enough gas to poison the atmosphere for hundreds of thousands of years. The dinosaurs faced a 1-2 punch from nature itself. Fire from within and fire from above. Some researchers believe that even without the asteroid, the volcanic winters and changing climate might have wiped out most species anyway. Others argue that without the impact, enough might have survived to rebuild their world. We may never know. But in every layer of ash, every fossilized feather, we can see a story larger than destruction. It's the story of how life bends but never breaks, how it adapts, reshapes, and rises again. The dinosaurs' time ended not in defeat, but in transformation. Yet as Earth healed and new life took root, the balance of power was shifting once more. And what rose from their ashes would change the planet forever. In the centuries that followed the impact, silence ruled the Earth. No more thunderous footsteps, no more roars echoing through the forests. Only the whisper of wind over barren plains and the slow pulse of life beginning again. From the shadows, the survivors emerged. Small, unassuming, fragile. But within them, evolution was already at work, reshaping the destiny of the planet. Among them were creatures that would seem familiar to us today. Tiny mammals, birds with teeth, reptiles clinging to what remained of their ancient power. In this quiet, fragile world, competition gave way to adaptation. The survivors weren't the strongest. They were the ones that could change. Fossil records show that within just a few million years, the Earth had begun to flourish once more. Forests returned. Rivers carved new paths through ash and stone. Flowers bloomed, drawing insects and pollinators into a new kind of partnership. The age of dinosaurs had given way to the age of renewal. And yet, the ghosts of that lost empire lingered. In the hollow bones of every bird, in the scales that became feathers, in the instincts of flight and song, the legacy of the dinosaurs endured. Every sparrow, every eagle, every hummingbird carries within its cells the same blueprint that once built a tyrant lizard. It is humbling to imagine that the creatures who ruled the Earth for over 150 million years are not truly gone. They are all around us, wearing the disguise of fragility but carrying the memory of power. But their fall carries a warning too. No species, no matter how mighty, is safe from the forces of a changing planet. The dinosaurs mastered their world, but they could not control the heavens or the fires beneath their feet. Scientists studying the aftermath of the impact have uncovered layers of soot and iridium scattered across the globe, each one a silent record of destruction. But above those layers lies something else, life reborn, richer and more diverse than before. That paradox defines our planet. Every extinction paves the way for creation. Every ending feeds a new beginning. The asteroid didn't simply end the dinosaurs. It set the stage for everything that came after. Mammals, primates, and eventually, us. Without their fall, there would be no human dawn. And yet, as we look back, we are forced to see ourselves in their reflection. We too live in an age of change, a time when the balance of climate and life trembles once again. Like the dinosaurs, we have reshaped the Earth to our will. But nature remembers. And the same fragile balance that doomed them still holds us in its grasp. Perhaps that is the true truth of the asteroid. It was never just a story about death, but about transformation. About how every world must fall, so another can rise. 66 million years ago, fire turned the sky to glass. Today, those same skies cradle the flight of birds, the living heirs of an ancient kingdom. When we hear their song, we are hearing the echoes of a lost world calling through time. The dinosaurs are not gone. They never truly were. They are the light that moves across the morning sky, the beating of wings, the pulse of life that refuses to fade. And as long as a single bird greets the dawn, their story continues, a story written in fire, silence, and the unbreakable will of life itself.